Milan and Chilion. Milan and Chilion, don't miss this. Their names etymologically mean, Milan means sick. Don't miss that. His mama and daddy named him sick. And then he had a brother by the name of Chilion. Chilion, his name means frail or destruction. Are you getting this right here? Because in biblical antiquity, you were named according to your identity. And that's why Howard Thurman said that it is in the context of family that we begin to cultivate our sense of identity. It's at home that you begin to cultivate a sense of who you are. At home, you begin to decide who you are. That's why it's important that we as parents create the kind of climate that is so affirming and so secure and filled with love that children know that if there's one place they can define themselves in a healthy fashion, it is at home. Because at home you can define yourself as abandoned or affirmed. At home you can define yourself as blessed or broken. At home you can define yourself as confident or crippled. At home you can define yourself as delivered or damaged. At home you can define yourself as empowered, or you can define yourself as being extra. At home you can define yourself as being a person with fortitude and faith, or you can define yourself by frustration. You define yourself by the atmosphere you come up in at home. No wonder, who was it? Carter G. Woodson said, we become what we behold. It's at home that we begin to define our sense of identity. I'm not coming through. Some of y'all know my testimony. My name is Frederick Douglass Haynes III. I love that name. That's a fire name right there. I'm named for the silver-tongued orator of the abolitionist movement, Frederick Douglass. So I got to do what I do. But y'all know I was named not just for him, but for my father, who was Frederick Douglass Haynes Jr., who was named after his father, Frederick Douglass Haynes Sr. Where did Frederick Douglass Haynes Sr. get his name from? I'll help you. He was orphaned at the age of 4, and his parents, up until he was 4, just called him Bubba. And now his parents are deceased. His older sister and aunt begin to take care of him, and they continue to call him Bubba. He's in West Virginia, Summers County, and check out what happened. He goes to school at the age of 9 for the first time, and there in school, don't miss this, the teacher asked him, what is your name? He can't say Bubba because that is not an appropriate name for the teacher to call you, but he had been taught by his older sister and his aunt about Frederick Douglass. He had been taught about the liberating ways of Frederick Douglass, and so right on the spot, when the teacher said, what's your name? He didn't say Bubba, he said Frederick Douglass Haynes. Don't miss your shout right there, because he in that moment let all of us know, if you grow up in the right atmosphere in this life, you don't discover who you are, you decide who you are. And that's why, my sisters and brothers, my granddaddy Frederick Douglass Haynes Sr. pastored Third Baptist Church in San Francisco for 38 years, but he was the first African American to run for county supervisor. It's commissioner here in Dallas County. He was the first African American he was the first to invite the NAACP National Convention. It met at Third Baptist in the 50s, and he invited W.E.B. Du Bois and Paul Robeson and Josephine Baker when all of them were considered persona non grata by the United States of America. He hosted Martin Luther King Jr. right there at Third Baptist at the California Historic Society. You can go there right now. There are letters exchanged between Dr. King and my granddaddy Frederick Douglass Haynes. Letters exchanged between my granddaddy and Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Harry Truman, my granddaddy did all of that. Why? Because when he was 9, in spite of his parents dying, when he was 4 years old, he was taught about Frederick Douglass and made up his mind that that is who he was going to become. I'm just trying to let somebody know right now, even if you have a broken background, God can place the right folk in your life and they can pour into you. That's why you got to be careful who you allow to pour into your spirit and get in your ear, because the bottom line is you can decide who you are. Preach for the hands.